Welcome to the Hypothalamic Amenorrhea podcast. I'm Danny Sheriff, your host, certified fertility awareness practitioner, functional nutrition counselor, and founder of the HA Society, and of course, an HA recovery coach who has walked where you currently are walking. This is the place to come if you care about getting your period regularly. This podcast aims to educate, inform, and keep you motivated on your period and HA recovery track. So let's dive in. But last thing, nothing on the show should be taken as medical advice, so please seek the advice of your physician. The HA Society is taking clients. Coach Ashley and I work one-on-one with HAers, as we call you, to help you figure out a plan and, of course, implement it and stay accountable. Whether you've worked with a health practitioner already and you just want to stay accountable and strategic with the plan that they've laid out for you, or you want to start from scratch looking at all the aspects of your recovery needs and to create a game plan to reach those needs, then we are definitely your girls. When you sign up to work one-on-one with one of us, we're going to go over your history, your biggest obstacles, ensure that we're taking into account your specific goals, and start making a plan to reach them. So those goals could be getting your period back, could be getting pregnant, could be getting back to exercise or sport, or simply working on your mindset around your body image and long-term recovery. We also can teach you the fertility awareness method. So if you want to learn that so that you have the skills you need to go out into the world on your own without fear of getting HA again, we have got your back. So our coaching packages are either weekly or bi-weekly and only a month at a time commitment. So you're not paying tons and tons of money for 5-6 months. It's month to month, which is awesome. Makes perfect sense for period recovery, right? So to learn about other women's experiences working with us and to apply for a coaching spot, plus ask any questions that you might have before getting started, just go to thehasociety.com/coaching. Hey, I have a statement I'm going to repeat to you guys, and I want you to think if this sounds familiar to you. But she has her period, but she doesn't seem to have these issues, but she's able to diet or have a low body weight. Why can't I? Anything like that. It could also be like she's able to run and she doesn't have this problem. Why do I have to stop running? Or she got her period back with less weight gain than I did. Or how come she looks better with the weight gain than I look? All of these things have in common assumptions about someone else and taking what it looks like is happening for someone else and applying meaning about what that means about you, right? So I'm going to say that again because it's really important. When you are looking at someone else and making an assumption about their health, or their body's resilience, or what their life is like, or that things are easier for them than they are for you, you're making assumptions that you don't have all of the facts about, and then applying meaning to you. Because when we are envying or comparing ourselves to someone, it's not happening in a vacuum, right? You're not making a judgment about someone and then leaving it there. It's human nature. It's actually just how we're designed. And it plays a role in how we perceive the world, right? So when you compare anything in the world to something else, you're actually subconsciously creating meaning about yourself. So for example, if you have a friend who makes a comment about another friend, it has nothing to do with you, right? That friend is talking about another friend. But subconsciously, you're applying meaning about what that situation means about you. So for example, a friend says that they love that other girl's hair looks really great. In your mind, whether you know it or not, your brain is determining if your hair also looks good enough to be deemed good. Right? It may not be immediately conscious, but these are the things that are creating and building underlying, these underlying issues that got us here with HA in the first place. So it could look like negative judgments too, right? A friend says something negative about a stranger walking by or someone at work or whatever. Maybe they make a comment about someone's weight. In your mind, you're going to compare your body and your weight to that girl and apply the same judgments, good or bad, onto yourself. So I want you to be really aware that we do that, that we blow things up in our mind. And the really important part here is that we're applying this meaning and making it really important without having all of the facts. Okay, so this comes up a lot in the HA community for sure. And I hear this all the time from clients and members and just kind of people that I like chat with on Instagram or something, which is, but my best friend, she runs just as much as me. She's always on a diet and she always has her period. She has 3 kids, something like that. So this observation becomes this like be all and end all comparison for so many people of like, so, why is my body not as resilient? And I'm going to just give you like some practical stuff here. I'm not going to get all like, philosophical about the issue. I'm going to be practical here. I went through that too. And this is a part of my personality. It's like I really dissect things. And I used that ability to dissect things to also look further into the reality of this situation. So I have a friend. I'm going to use an example. I have a friend. Hi, Adi. I'll just admit it, so there's no BS here. And she has always, we're similar height and weight. We're very similar age, a couple years apart. And she also has a similar, somewhat similar athletic background. If anything, she definitely has a more athletic background than me. We did the same sport and we pushed ourselves in the gym similarly. But she had her period every month and she was also dieting in a similar way. In fact, we worked at the same nutrition coaching company and we counted our macros and everything. And she would have her cycle every month, but me, no, not so much. So I really was confused by that. And I eventually, over time, come to learn things that just that really showed me that I was not seeing the whole picture and really bringing my problems and just wondering why she doesn't have my exact problems. When what I needed to be asking was, okay, what different problems is she dealing with as a result of this? So lo and behold, she has low thyroid, hypothyroidism. And that's how it manifested for her, and I don't have that. Her cycles, she has very little cervical mucus. And, for conception for her, I had to rely on things like Pre-Seed, which is a lubricant that's kind of meant to just help if you have low cervical mucus production. So that's just a very small, easy to visualize situation where I just wasn't looking at her whole picture and I was just picking and choosing what was relevant to me to make up a story about why I suck and she doesn't, when really we just all have different things going on. So when you look at that friend of yours that you think doesn't have the same issues as you need to look at the whole picture and realize that she has other stuff going on. Maybe her reproductive hormones or basically her body has a higher stress tolerance. Sure. Then what? And now what? Why does that matter? I know a question on your mind is, how long will recovery take me? And I know that because I get that question a lot. And it's tough because the timeline can be really unknown. And look, I can't give you a magic answer that's 100% accurate, but what I can do is ask you a whole lot of questions to understand things like what your lifestyle is, where your mindset's at, what have you already tried, what are you willing to try and not willing to try, and a lot more questions like that to determine a general range that you could expect. So I created a quiz to help get that answer to you because I was asking these types of questions to girls all the time. So I thought I'd make a quiz, and it's called How Long Might It Take to Get My Period Back? The quiz. So once you go through it and you answer the questions, it will give you not just a time range, but a quick description of how you might be feeling to help you connect with that answer and see it, make sure, yes, like this fits, this feels good for me. And don't worry, these ranges don't have to be set in stone at all. The goal is to allow you to look at the range that came based on your answers and decide, do I want to do this or do I want to speed this up? So once you get your range, you'll also get a few emails from me that week with some important tips that are specific to you to help you work through some of the roadblocks that could be slowing you down and in turn speed up your recovery time frame. So take the quiz now. Just head to quiz.thehasociety.com or find the link in the show notes and let's do this. That's quiz.thehasociety.com. Then secondly, this is exactly why you can't compare, right? I hear it all the time. She should be able to do it. So, I'm not going to stop weightlifting or make changes to my program because I'm doing the exact same program as that girl over there and she has her period. So I know it's true. I've heard this 3 times this week, from different people. It's not about the program. It's not about the training program and that if she can do it, you can do it. It's irrelevant. In fact, if you're all on the same training program, that tells me that you're going to be doing, like your body's going to be reacting different. I'll get back to that in a sec, but the training program is irrelevant because your stress tolerance is different. Your body's starting hormonal base. Your body is different. So I don't care, and your body doesn't care what this other girl is doing. And the fact that she can handle it has no physiological meaning about what your body can handle. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. So when someone is doing the same amount of lifting as you, running as you, eating as you, whatever, that's also not a helpful comparison. If we all ate the same and did the same training, we would all look different, right? I see how your initial reaction is, if we all do the same program, we should get the same result. But if you really think about it, if we were all doing the same exercise program or eating the same way, that would be way too generalized and not sufficiently individualized. So really the way we should be looking at things from an exercise goals perspective is, say you're going into a program, a lifting program, and you have the same goal to increase your back squat by 80%, okay? Or decrease your run time by 20%. That's going to equal a different number for every person. So there's that as one goal. Now, if you both had the same goal to back squat 100 kilos or reduce 3 seconds from your run time, well, now those goals are totally different, because if you have a longer run time, it's probably going to be easier for you to shave 3 seconds off than it is for someone who's already closer to their maximum potential. If you are already squatting 95 kilos, it's going to be easier for you to get to 100 kilos if, compared to someone whose back squat is 75 or 80, if you have the same training age, right? But maybe you don't. Maybe one person's been lifting for longer. The person who's been lifting for less time will probably increase the amount of weight that they're able to lift sooner than the person with an older training age. Like all of these variables, there's so many of them that it's wild for us to be comparing ourselves and our body's ability to perform both in training, in life, and hormonally. We just can't compare the two. So if you are comparing yourself to other girls doing similar things in their life, in their eating, in their training, whatever, it's so important to look back and say, okay, if I do the same thing as them, here are the reasons why it might not be the same for me, okay? I haven't been doing this as long as them. Or I come from a completely different set of genetics and DNA. Or they may not have hypothalamic amenorrhea, but they may have hypothyroidism. Or maybe you don't even know anything about this person, and maybe you're assuming someone has 3 kids naturally, but they actually had IVF. Or they may have struggled a lot. Or maybe they got pregnant, but they had to be on HRT to sustain this pregnancy. Like, you just don't know. You just don't know. There's so much that evens it out, right? Like, maybe a friend had a premature birth, right? They got pregnant and it was easy for them, but they gave birth many weeks too early. But you went through this recovery process and that was hard, but by the time you had gotten pregnant, everything went hunky-dory, okay? It's not that anyone did anything wrong, but you can kind of see how you want a part of her experience and she's probably going to want a part of the experience that you got. It all evens out, it all levels out, and comparing yourself to someone else is completely irrelevant. There is nothing relevant about it. Now, a part of what we do on this show is share stories about people's recovery so that you can get, motivation, inspiration, maybe hear a little bit of your story inside someone else's to get a bit of a pep in your step. Now, using self-comparison as a way to encourage yourself is a valuable resource. And you could be thinking like, well, that's convenient, right? Use it when it's convenient for you, but not when it's not. And you know what I say to that? I say, I say, hell yeah. Because it actually does just make sense to pick the things that, like maybe you have a similar lifestyle or background to someone else who was able to do this. Yes, take that as inspiration, but do not take their story as, oh, this means I need to do exactly the same thing. That's just where the line is drawn. This is inspiration, it's motivation. It can happen for a variety of different people in a variety of different ways because we're all individual. And you will probably have to take an individualized approach even if your story is similar to someone else's. So just, those are my tidbits for today, okay? You can't compare your story to someone else in any aspect. Something that someone else has that you want, you have something that they want too, so whatever. And you really don't know what someone else is going through, and it's actually hurtful and harmful to assume that someone else has it better than you have it or had an easier time than you had it. Okay. That's me for today, guys. Love you. See you soon. Everyone have a really great day. Thank you so much for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast, and if you could head to iTunes specifically and leave a rating or review, that would help so much because it makes it easier for other people with HA who are Googling around to find the podcast really easily. So if you do that, you're doing a service to all of the women.
True You women's vitamins and supplements were created to inspire a lifetime of self-care that comes naturally. If you're looking to fill nutritional gaps in your diet, Perfect Ensemble multivitamins are the solution for you. Trying to healthify your hair, skin, and nails? It's all about head over heels enhanced collagen powder. And if you want to support a healthy hormonal balance, Balancing Act can help you find that sweet spot. Treat yourself to True You at vitaminshop.com or the Vitamin Shop store near you.